I'm Mandy. I'm an art therapist here at the Village, and I am bringing you a couple little fun things that you could do with your kids in the kitchen utilizing cornstarch. So this one utilizes 1/4 of a cup instant pudding mix, 1 cup cornstarch, and 1/3 cup warm water. It is important that it's warm. This is honestly my favorite of all the ones I'm going to show you today. It produces this super stretchy, super soft, almost like a Play-Doh texture. Smells great. You can use any kind of pudding that you'd like. I used vanilla, which is what gave it that yellow texture or color, but you could use chocolate, you could use strawberry, you could use any kind of pudding mix, as long as it's instant, not the cooking serve. And then I also added here some chocolate chips to create some texture in it. Also added another sensory element of smell. You can feel the chocolate chips in it as you're playing with it, but then also the longer you play with it, the more closely they're going to get to melting into it. So this one you use 1 cup melted marshmallows, or you could use a cup of marshmallow fluff. 1/4 cup powdered sugar, and 1/2 cup of cornstarch. If you make this one and notice it's a little too sticky, you can always add more cornstarch. This one is definitely really soft and is the stretchiest of all the ones I made today. I had never made one like this before. This one utilizes candy. So I used 1/2 cup of Starbursts, but you could also use Laffy Taffy, saltwater taffy, any hard taffy like candy. You're going to microwave it for 20 seconds and then add that mixture to 1/8 cup of powdered sugar and 1/2 cup of cornstarch. And you can mix it with a spoon to begin with, but it is going to need to be kneaded like dough, which I suggest an adult do because it is quite warm and possibly a little too warm for a child's hands. But it does make a really thick, I hesitate to call it slime. It's more like a putty. It's almost like Therapeutic if you've ever used that material. There's a couple of ways to make this kind of crumbly, soft type dough. The one that I'm using in the video was 1 cup powdered sugar and 1/2 cup frosting, but you can also use cornstarch, and instead of the frosting, you could also use hair conditioner. They produce very similar textures in the end. This next one uses cornstarch, shampoo, and water. It's a little bit silkier of a dough, but it is more of a dough material rather than a slime. This one's really good for molding and shaping if you're wanting to use it to build like you would Play-Doh. So this next one is something people on the internet tend to refer to as oobleck, which is basically a water and cornstarch mixture. But I also added Jello to the mix because it makes it colorful. It gives it a nice smell. It doesn't really alter the texture very much. But the neat thing about this one is it changes its consistency by how much water you add to it, but it's kind of good all the different ways. So the first way only had a small amount of water, and then as we go, we'll be adding more and more water to it. And you'll see the different consistencies that that creates. And with the ooblecks, if you use bubble bath and water in the mixture, it tends to make it a little less sticky and a little easier to clean up in the end. And the last thing I want to add is that to any of the mixtures we've created today, you can add anything like sprinkles, marshmallows, those chocolate chips that I mentioned earlier, to add texture, just to be another element to a completed mixture. I hope this video has given you a few ideas of stuff that you could do with your kids in the kitchen, and we would absolutely love to see pictures, read comments, anything like that of the awesome things you guys have created. Thanks!